So it's been about a year since my last record collection video, so I thought it was time for an update. So I think we'll go in alphabetical order, starting off with Car Seat Headrest, Teens of Denial. This record came out quite recently in 2016. It's quite a drastic change in sound from the band's last album. The sound of the vocals is more cleanly produced, less lo-fi, and for that reason this record stands out in the band's discography. It's definitely gotten the more public attention, so if you hadn't heard of this band and you're into the kind of things that I am, you might want to start off with this record because it is more cleanly produced, and personally I kind of prefer that. So this is a gatefold double LP, and we have in the middle all the lyrics from the songs. Definitely check out this band if you haven't heard of them, and yeah. Now we get into my collection of Gang of Youths records. I really like Gang of Youths, which you will soon be able to gather. So this was their debut record called The Positions. It was played by Triple J in 2015, and I heard Magnolia and I Shazammed it, put it in my library, and I've never gotten rid of it, obviously. I really like this band. This album is full of some very intense emotions that are justified by the context of the record. The frontman Dave, his wife was going through cancer, so obviously that was incredibly emotionally trialing, and this is what came out of that. Keeping that in mind, the kind of emotions that are seen in this record are hardly surprising, but it's definitely not something that will leave you feeling depleted emotionally. It's still, if you take away the context, you take away the meaning, the sound of some of these songs themselves are quite uplifting and beautiful, particularly Vital Signs, Magnolia, The Overpass, etc. Next we have the EP, Let Me Be Clear. So this was released after their debut, with lead singles such as Native Tongue and Strange Diseases that got some radio play on Triple J, and this has its uplifting moments and its not so uplifting moments. Native Tongue is quite a triumphant song, and so if you enjoyed the debut record, chances are you will enjoy this EP. And also, I got it signed, no big deal. Next, to complete the trilogy, go FARTHERN, LIGHTNESS. This is the most recent album, came out this year, very recently. The first single that we got from this was What Can I Do If the Fire Goes Out, which is very upbeat. The drum beat is up-tempo, however the lyrics themselves are not quite congruent with the upbeat nature of the song. It's basically a plea for help, like what can I do if the fire goes out? A metaphor for what? I don't know. Some of these songs really tug on the heartstrings, such as Achilles Come Down. The strings that are consistent throughout this song really add to the emotional impact of the song itself, as well as the lyrics. It really makes you feel for Achilles, and it makes you want him to get down off the roof. And then the song Say Yes to Life, which closes off the album, continues along the sort of consistently encouraging sentiment of the album. Encouraging, to say the least. No matter where you are in life, this record is going to make you want to get out into the world and do great things. It's definitely worth listening front to back. It's got some interludes in the middle, and the record itself is a double LP. It is a limited edition clear vinyl, but in reality it's not quite clear, as you can see. Next we have King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Microtonal Banana. So basically this is a heavily experimental band. They're playing with a whole bunch of different ideas and releasing record after record. They've already put out a few this year, but this one particularly, it was them experimenting with microtonal tunings of the guitars, drums, etc, etc, which makes for quite a unique sound and very interesting to listen to front to back. It's captivating. It's definitely worth a listen if you've never heard of this band. I know they're an Australian band. I'm not sure what their platform is globally. Anthony Fantano have reviewed them and people seem to like him somewhat, so I'm sure that helped. One thing that kept consistent with this record from their last one, Nonagon Infinity, is the last one for the first time played with the idea of the record itself being infinite, the end of one song leading into the beginning of the next, which isn't something that has never been done, but this band decided to do it for the entire record, meaning that even the last song of the record leads into the first song. So if you were to play it front to back on repeat, it would be an endless string of music, which obviously you can't do if you have it on vinyl, but you know what I'm saying. So they continued with that with this record, and each song leads into the next. Yeah, definitely check this out if you need something unique, something to spice up your music collection in a world where bands are starting to sound like each other. This is definitely a band that stands out, to say the least. Next we have In Utero by Nirvana, a very famous album from a very famous band. We have songs like Heart-Shaped Box, Dumb, etc, etc. So this was Nirvana's last album, obviously, and it's amazing. Next we have Come As You Are by Nirvana, and it is a 12-inch single, and it's a picture disc, and I thought it was pretty cool, so I decided to pick it up. And I still have the label from Beat Disc on it, it's secondhand. So on the A side we have Come As You Are, and on the B side we have Endless Nameless and a live version of School, which was on Bleach. So I just thought it'd be kind of cool to have this one. Alright, next we have Oslo, which is also an Australian band, and they are lesser known than the other bands that I've showed you today. I saw them play in Beat Disc Records in an in-store show, and obviously liked what I heard, and then we got to have a chat with the band. They gave us advice for our band, and that was really lovely, so obviously if I can support that, then I will. If you're into bands such as like Being As an Ocean, Tiger's Jaw, Touche Amore, etc, etc, you might like this. Alright, next we have Sonic Youth Goo. This one's obviously very famous as well. Classic 90s record. Songs like Dirty Boots are really hard hitting, and then there's obviously quirky songs like Cool Thing and My Friend Goo. So yeah, I'm sure you've heard this one, but if not, you definitely should. And finally we have Nothing But Thieves, Broken Machine. So if you watched my last video, you know that I really like Nothing But Thieves. They've been one of my favorite bands since I first found them, and now they have a new record, which is not disappointing. So they've kind of become known to have this monstrous sound. This is definitely consistent with that reputation, especially seen in songs like I'm Not Made by Design, the chorus of Amsterdam, I Was Just a Kid, and then of course the soaring vocals of frontman Connor are seen in all of these, but particularly songs like Particles, Hell Yeah, and any other song that is kind of stripped back or less involved with instrumentation. This is the deluxe cover of the record, but it's not the actual deluxe version, which I am okay with, because I feel if it were to be the deluxe version, it would probably be spread across 2 LPs, which is not as convenient to listen to. I'd prefer it to be on one, but conveniently I actually prefer this cover to the standard cover. But also the record itself is split vinyl white and black, which I thought was pretty cool because first of all it's thematically consistent with the sort of black and white dichotomy type thing they've got going on with the two album covers. The black vinyl bleeds into the white and it's quite beautiful. That's the last record I have gotten in the past year. Yeah, that's it. Like and subscribe if you feel the need to, and I will see you soon. Not sure when, I'm pretty busy with the HSC coming up, but whatever, we'll see how we go. Bye bye.